me introduce myself to you. I'm known as Gopal Prabhakaran. You can call me Prabha for short. I'm the Vice Chairman of the Reform Party. Now, from the time we formed the Reform Party, in consonance with the aspirations of Mr. J.D. Jawaharlal, JDJ as many of you prefer to call it, to officially being registered as a political society on 3rd of July 2008, scrambling then to hold our inauguration dinner 8 days later to announce our existence, then temporarily getting stopped in our tracks by the sudden demise of our party chief, Mr. JDJ, till the recent instance at our party's executive council meeting, where the idea of holding a public forum was mooted. The Reform Party was seen as inactive, hanging in the air, as claimed by an armchair critic who had a familiar PAP smell about it. Well, today is the proof that the pundits, whatever cloak they are wearing, have been proved wrong. Now, this is the first time we have organized an event of this nature, where we can meet and talk with fellow Singaporeans who share a common and inherent belief that the Singaporean system, the PAP system that is, has long failed to click, and there is a dire need for it to be replaced. Now, this can be a topic for further introspective discussion at another forum or at another gathering. So let's not. I don't want to drag this into a different area. Let us get started with the proceedings.
We talk about the societal impacts of spending 14 times more on military spending as compared to public diplomacy. What kind of message are we sending to the people? Now, some of you might know that we are involved in some armed production that is quite controversial today, including cluster bombs and landmines, and the arms trade, where we supply arms to countries such as Burma and others. Is this the kind of message that we want to send out to our children? That it is okay for us to spend money and to earn money by selling arms to such devious organizations such as the Burmese junta? I'm not saying that we shouldn't defend ourselves at all. I'm saying that look at the reality of the situation today. What are we defending? Have you spoken to national servicemen and asked them whether they feel patriotic at all, whether they feel they are defending something here in Singapore? This is because of a disconnection between the public and the government and society at large. This disconnection is because the government has made it so difficult, such an uphill task for people's active participation in politics and society. It's because the government has stepped in to say that we always know what is right, you don't know what you're doing, and this has led to the disconnection that I'm talking about. Instead of what I call arrogance and a display of hostility by increasing military spending and talking about building walls against aggressors, especially amongst our neighbors, in this time of crisis, we should be promoting greater understanding and cooperation. In this time of financial crisis, we are worse off than our neighboring countries because we do not have natural resources. We do not even have fields to plant rice, whereas they do. And at this point of time, we should increase greater cooperation and understanding with our immediate neighbors. I hope that at least for next year's budget, military spending will go down and will not be 14 times more than what we spend on public diplomacy, which is what we should be concentrating on, especially in this time of dire financial crisis.
Singaporeans who have owned private property or have used two housing subsidies will be barred permanently from renting a HDB. So in the recession, are we saying that just because someone has owned a private property before, or someone bought a flat with his parents and then maybe the parents upgraded the flat once, then for the rest of their lives, they will never get into financial difficulty, and they will never need to rent again? Parents with children who own private property, who have a HDB flat with a spare room, will also not be able to rent a HDB flat. What if the parent is retrenched? What if the parent's business fails? He has to stay with the children. Why? The life income scheme is where you choose to receive the most money a month for life. But if you die, there is absolutely no refund at all for your beneficiaries. So if you choose this, one of the options, the one that pays you the most, you decide at 55, 1 month later you die, your life CPF savings is wiped out. You take the life annuity under this option at 65, 65 plus 1 month and die, your life CPF is wiped out. What about widows and children of people who have chosen this scheme? Of course, it's your choice. You can select the scheme. But in which country in the world are citizens allowed to literally take a gamble with their life CPF savings, double and nothing, and lose it all? Uniquely. We also announced the HDB lease buyback scheme, where if you are lower income Singaporean, you have only a 2 or 3 room HDB flat, you can sell your lease to HDB. You stay for another 30 years, you get $10,000 upfront, 5,000 cash, 5,000 to your CPF. You get $500 a month from age 65 for life. 30 years later, the HDB takes back your flat. See, it's not the normal reverse mortgage scheme. You take out money, 10,000, you take 500 every month. If the interest is 5%, in the example given by HDB, a flat costing $200,000, in the normal reverse mortgage, you owe about 400,000 after 30 years. If you assume that the 200,000 3-room HDB flat is going to increase in value at 5% annum, then after 30 years, the value is 900,000. So does it mean that every family who takes this option stands to lose $500,000 of equity in 30 years' time? So what choice do they have? Well, perhaps people who are thinking of this scheme should consider renting 1 room of their 3-room flat out for $500, and this amount will increase with inflation, your rental. Lastly, let me talk about the schemes to help unemployed Singaporeans. The PSP, Professional Skills Program, to help PMETs, professionals, managers, engineers, and technicians, help unemployed PMETs. The help is we encourage you to go for upgrading, upgrade your skills. We pay up to 90% of the course fees. If you're unemployed and you go for upgrading 6 months, a year or more, how are you going to survive with no income? So the measure doesn't help the people who need it most, those who need jobs and those who need. Unless you have savings, they tide you over in upgrading. How do you go for upgrading and feed your family? For the lower income, you get $4 to $6+ an hour when you go for training. So in a way, you're better than the PMETs. But here's the problem: if you're lower income and go for retraining, $4 or $6 works out to about $400 to $600 a month. How many Singaporeans can survive when you go for retraining on $400 to $600?